My artworks offer polyvocal accounts of everyday situations and environments. These accounts take the form of collective electronic literature projects using various forms of participation, collaborations with artists and writers, work composed in cooperation with specific groups, non-artists, and work involving audience participation, including those people who don't realise they are an audience, in situ interventions. What I am doing with these participatory artworks is using them to gather information on and draw attention to everyday environments and situations. These works do this through interventions in commonplace environments, collective writing projects that explore how place is practiced, gallery-based works which use generative processes and audience inputs to cast some light on the technologies that we are using now, or whatever next I happen to think of, on the assumption that it might be an interesting thread to follow. As a practitioner, I admit a certain curiosity concerning participatory art, concerns such as what it actually is and what it could become. However, it is obvious that there is a sliding scale of public participation from barely engaged but going through the motions to fully committed, and of roles in participatory artworks from rigidly assigned through to co-creation. However, my projects would be impossible without the participants' contributions, as they are structured to allow these participants to define their space. I am not interested in collaboration to bring about a coherent and unified position on a particular situation. I am not interested in observing what is there and imposing meaning on it. What does interest me is connecting with a space, if only for a moment, as long as it's enough to hear the voices of those in that space. I am also interested in enabling others to do so too. These projects are attempts to offer the practitioners within these spaces a chance to speak for themselves, whilst giving others the opportunity to read or hear what they have to say. These works direct an audience's attention to everyday environments. If they have a transformative effect by making someone think differently about places and social practices, then so much the better. What I have said here is only part of my process. What I am doing is running a series of experimental sites to see if it's possible to use participatory artworks as a means of gathering information on and drawing attention to everyday environments, simply because I will never know whether it is possible until I try. Polyvocal account.
How to foreground the relationship of a body to the resonant space. How to grasp a thickening of a cloud or the sound that your thoughts make upon exit, or the perfect circle that is visible in the imperfect one. The vibrations from our extensions are deafening, and we need an ad hoc roadmap. On it, we proceed to locate a temporary holding place for discordant elements and fragments for usable parts. The record is provisional, of course, and at any moment it can fail or vanish. We go ahead and call it a clearinghouse.
Everyday environments.
The table is dressed with flowers, separate tickets for all entries. The army has begun to fight back. Not until Monday, July only. The deep space is continuous in all directions. It is yellow in color, but that's beside the point. A percept amongst sequences of other percepts. You swim in this space in a particular way, and I want to understand how that happens. Your movements seem incongruous with mine, and mine are stubbornly incongruous with the yellow space and its raw data.
Whatever next I happen to amounts to a thread to follow.
There is a solace in moving across large distances on a miniature scale. For instance, the roughest tops and throughs shrink into a mere interesting texture under your fingertips. It is exhilarating to be able to speed up and halt at your will, and take in the terrain like another kind of animal. One could get used to this kind of locomotion, propelled collectively, but operated singularly. When deposited on any of the native points on this quivering atlas, we can only hope that some of the global intuitions prevail, advancing another kind of organization within the matter around us. That goes for me as well as for you, I reckon.
Certain curiosity through the motions define their own space.
We can do this by suspending the demands of a particular practice, particular genre, particular player, particular hand, particular hang-up, particular stance, shake or mood, particular question, attitude or message, particular atmosphere, particular fault, particular truth or doubt, particular temper, particular cause or party, particular exposure, assumption, or final outcome. For this, we need to arrive at the position on particular.
A chance to read or hear what they have to say.
What and they and say, our direction is provisional here also, and comes with a warning, caution when appropriating. The landscape is wild, or could easily turn so. Straddling dual loyalties, we can go either way and also backtrack. The route is convoluted. The dulcet sounds of what they say obscure the serrated edge of a transitional note that can pivot us, or you, or me onwards if we spot it.
Experimental sites, gathering information on and draw.
Attention upon attention, with attention. Where we were headed was nowhere. We arrived at the resonance space, and this is where we pitched the clearinghouse and held our sumptuous picnic. The record that took us here is no longer needed, so it will vanish, but my data points for roving are refreshed, and the atlas a little less opaque for now. And for that, I'm thankful.